So welcome to the what was it? Fuck, it's a light switched on
No,
podcast.
it's good lights on.
Lights on podcast with
Tian?
and myself, Brian. A bit of background about myself. I've been reading for a long time. I also train at the gym, work, started my own company, have a fair amount of stock investments, and I'm keen to grow. A bit about yourself.
My name is Tian. I am a qualified holistic counsellor, but I have not yet started my own private practice. Currently work in mental health. My interests are also the gym, not as much as Brian though. I'm very much into spirituality and self-development through that avenue. Also, like Brian, I love reading. I spend a lot of time by myself, just researching and just trying to expand my mind. And I finally feel like I'm at a place where I can share some of the information that I've gained over the years.
What type of training do you do?
So I do weight training. I only really do lower body just because I do have an athletic body type. And like, look, I got traps. I don't even train traps.
Yeah, bigger than
Yeah,
mine,
yeah,
mate.
like my traps
Ew,
are huge.
yeah.
So I don't, I know, but for someone that doesn't train them at all, like that's just from doing natural stuff during the day. Like it's, yeah, so I don't do upper body because like I'll get too beefy. And then I do yoga almost every day. And I usually do reformer Pilates as well. But I wanted to start doing calisthenics, and I actually think out of all the different types of fitness that you can do, the best type of fitness that you can do is dancing. Hear
Dancing.
me out though. They have
Okay.
fluidity, they have agility, they have flexibility,
Yeah,
they have
stretch.
mobility, they have core strength. And your
Was it like ballet, like the hip hop dancing,
any
or
type of
any type?
probably not ballet because of like that actually takes such an immense toll on your body. Like, have you seen
Yeah.
their feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Doing
all
the
fucked
little
up, man.
toe
Yeah, they're
stands.
disgusting. So no offense to all the ballet people out there, but yeah, I don't want to do that. But yeah, like you just see like fuck, you just see them, and it's just like they've got core strength, they've got so much movement in their body. That's what I want, because if the body represents a subconscious mind, you want fluidity in there, you want flow in there, because
Yeah.
that's your beliefs and that's your emotions. You want them to flow. So you have a healthy system as a whole, mind, body, and spirit. So yeah,
Yeah.
like if anyone was watching me at home when I'm by myself, I look crazy because I'm like just going around doing all these like
Do you
crazy
do that?
movements and stuff just to try and get it, like because I can feel it. Like I've got tenseness in my shoulders,
Yeah.
you know, like that's emotion that needs to be transcended and excavated from the body.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I dance at home too. Maybe not like that. But
Are you a good dancer?
nah. If you've ever seen me out, don't speak, don't comment. I'm alright. I'm alright.
What kind of dancing do
I'm
you do
alright.
at home?
No, just R&B, just normal club dancing. Just none of the TikTok dances. I'll never
Yeah, I
do
can't do
that.
the TikTok. Yeah,
I'll never
but
do
the
that.
TikTok dancers, they look fucked
Not
anyway. They
not
look
for
very
me.
rehearsed. Like what? Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like it's
okay.
shit.
I know a few TikTok dances maybe, but yeah, no, I can dance. I reckon, bro, some of the best times at night specifically, it's always at night before bed, like putting on like your favorite song and dancing before. It's nothing better. It's nothing better.
100%, especially when you tune into the music and then the
Ah,
moves just flow with the music.
yo, it's the best
Yeah,
shit.
it's the best.
It's the
It's the
best shit.
best. 100%.
How do you start your day?
How do I start my
Yeah,
day? I'm pretty bad in the sense that I don't have a routine. Usually I wake up, first thing I feel is severe anxiety
true.
every morning.
Damn.
Yeah. And I've
Yeah,
kind of just
right.
been, I've just subscribed to this YouTube channel. I can't remember his name, but he is
Andrew Tate.
American. No, but he used to be a monk. He's a monk, and
Yeah,
now
Andrew
he is.
Andrew Andrew Tate is
No, not Andrew
bold.
Tate. He used to be a monk. He is now a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And he has got a really cool perception on emotions, on mental health, on the modern world through the lenses of a Buddhist and someone who actively has worked with people within mental health for the past 20 years. So
Yeah.
it's really, really cool. But he was saying essentially anxiety is the effects of a trauma response from childhood. So he basically says that when you were a child, if you suffer from it as an adult, when you were a child, you were always looking out for possible things that could go wrong because you were not in a safe environment. So you're always on high alert, looking for, interpreting things, thinking and using the mind, because especially when you're a child, you're powerless. You can't change anything. You don't have the power. You don't have the resources. You don't have the mental capacity to change anything. So the way that you kind of assist yourself in self-soothing within that environment is you use your mind. So that's why anxiety feels like it's very much in the mind with the thoughts that you kind of have. But yeah, so I've noticed that I am always on high alert. I'm always looking for danger. So
True.
yeah, so that's just a belief system that I obviously feel like I'm not safe in this world,
Yeah.
based on my subconscious beliefs. So I'm in the process of transcending them. But I mean, the first step is awareness. When
Yeah,
you have
100%.
awareness over these patterns, you shine light into them
Yeah.
so they're no longer hidden. And then they kind of have the tendency to just kind of dissipate or transcend themselves once awareness is brought to them. If there is a heavy emotional, I mean, I don't see fear as an emotion. Do you?
Fear. I see. I see. I know fear and anxiety and excitement are all similar.
Yeah,
Like in
because
the
they
chemical makeup, it's all cortisol.
all within the nervous system as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
if you get scared or anxious about something, it's like before. The analogy I got was like before running a 100-meter sprint race. Like you're gonna be a bit scared, but you can also tune that as in you're excited to do this because it's pretty much the same exact emotion.
Yeah, actually, I think I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I really like the acronym of FEAR, false evidence appearing real.
True.
So I always say that to myself, and
Unless there's a tiger in front of you, then fucking yeah, the
well,
fears.
that's real.
That's fear.
Yeah, that's when the fight and flight should be
Yeah, yeah,
activated. But when you're just normally going about your day, you do not need your fight or flight activated whatsoever. But we were just having that conversation earlier before we started the podcast, is that I am a strong believer now that if there is fear present when you're about to take action, then that is one of the most positive signs, because fear is the illusion, false evidence appearing real, which means that whatever you truly want is on the other side of that fear. It's kind of like a little test. It's kind of like a troll guarding the door. You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? If
yeah,
you just allow yourself to walk through it,
yeah.
you'll get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So it's just the next level. So if any of you are fearful of taking that step towards what you really want to create in this world, I would look at it in that way and see it. Try and perceive it in a more positive way. There's fear here, awesome. That means I've got to run and I've got to jump into it because what I want is on the other side.
And except if you're jumping off a bridge. But yeah, no, 100%. 100%. I see it that way as well. I reckon you should always be uncomfortable. Try and do things that do scare you.
Definitely.
Because that's the only way to improve. When you're comfortable, like you're naturally regressing, or like you think you stay the same, but with everything, I've started to learn that you're never like the same. So you're always improving or deproving, if that makes sense. So when you're scared or you're always uncomfortable doing things you might not like to do, you're always on a uptrend. But if you're like not doing anything that's uncomfortable to you, you're always gonna digress. For example, training. If you don't go to the gym, you think you're just gonna chill out. Your muscles will deteriorate over time. If you naturally, if you play a sport and you don't fucking train every day, you're just gonna naturally get worse. So everything I've found recently is like it's literally like that. If you don't practice a skill, if you don't practice something that you used to consciously practice all the time, you're just naturally gonna get worse. Unless you're just doing it in general. Like if you don't talk to someone for 5 days, you're just in your room by yourself, you're gonna forget how to talk to people. It's like a weird thing, eh? You'll be
Yeah.
like, "Start, oh, this is a bit awkward." But if you talk to someone every single day, you're just gonna get better and better at it.
Yeah, consistency definitely is key.
Yeah. Do things that you're scared of.
Yeah,
I think.
it is hard though. I mean, I still struggle with it, but I'm slowly getting better. I've
True.
got a really big fear of judgment, I think, and it's because
True.
I'm so self-critical of myself. I'm my own worst critic, my own worst
That's
enemy.
so interesting. I mean, I'm real harsh on myself too, but I don't have that fear of judgment.
It's because I judge myself.
I think
And
I
I
judge
am
myself too.
I'm externally judgmental too. I am very judgmental of others too. I'll admit that. It's one of the
True.
patterns that I'm actively trying to transmute. But
Yeah, I don't really judge others.
yeah, it's bad. It's because, without placing blame, like I take accountability for my judgment
Oh,
now, but I came from a really critical family. So I was always felt like I was never good enough and
yeah,
nothing I ever did was good enough. I was always being compared to my parents as
yeah,
well. And like how bad for self perception is that? Like
yeah,
you're a
yeah, yeah.
child who doesn't
It's
take drugs, who's being compared to
little junkies, eh?
junkies, literally. Yeah, so it
Nah,
kind of just
fairs.
warped my self perception, but I am actively trying to change it. And going back to the NLP, at 35, they say that the brain, after 35, the brain is very hard to change. So I'm really kind of just like clearing out all the cobwebs. I've been able to get rid of most of the emotional stuff, but
Yeah,
it's just the patterns and the belief systems there. So next 2 years, I'm going to go in overdrive and trying to clear everything out by the time I'm 35.
that'd be good, eh?
Yeah.
That'd be good. With judging people, I retract that statement. I think I do judge people. I just don't.
Well, you told me I used to talk. You judged me on talking a lot the first time that we ever worked together. It was my
Oh no,
first
that was just my
shift.
perception.
It
Nah, it's
was That's a
different.
judgment.
Nah, it's different. It's different. It's perception.
No, that's a
Um,
judgment.
Nah, I think because I am real harsh on myself, I will look at people that aren't as harsh. I won't judge them badly, but I will just notice the difference, and I probably will not spend time with you because you're not trying to achieve the same type of level I'm trying to achieve. It can be spiritual, it can be just anything. As long as you're trying to improve yourself, sweet. We're gonna get along great. But if you're fucking chilling, smoking weed all the time, nah, bro, one of my best friends smokes weed all the time. No, I don't know. I don't think I judge people, but I do have that underlying like you can do better. I'm not gonna put any effort into trying to make you do better because I don't think I can change anyone. I will I don't think I'll even chuck in some words of. I don't think I've ever told him once, bro. You should probably just quit.
Oh yeah, and it's the worst thing to do is to like I think as well like when someone is leading an
Sorry, bros.
alternative like
No.
lifestyle that
Yeah.
it differs from yours for you to turn around and say you need to do this now and you need to do that and you need to change. I think that's one of the worst things that you can do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
You
think
can't just accept it, mate.
unconditional love.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, just
Even the ones
acceptance.
that gamble, you other boys, say, I'm not singling anyone out.
But do you know what I
You do
mean?
you.
It's their experience and they're going to learn and they're going to grow from that in whatever.
He's gonna watch it. He's gonna watch it.
I know who you're talking about. I know who both you're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
But yeah, no. I just think the ultimate act, and this is what I received when I was, partaking in things that weren't beneficial for myself, is I was always given by my best friend just unconditional love and acceptance, and I was never nagged. Obviously, there was a better way to live, but I always felt seen and accepted, and I
Yeah,
think that is an integral part on someone's evolutionary or
100,
expansion journey.
100%.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, yeah, I used to drink all the time. Well, you should see me hungover. I would never come to work hungover, but if I did, she would have seen it, and it was not great. It's not fun times. But hey, it is what it is. My friends stuck by me, people around me, still chilling with them, and and I've improved because I do have that mindset. I am always trying to get better.
yeah, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and when you see progress in yourself, you're just naturally gonna be happy. That's it. I reckon Tony Robbins speaks about this actually. the key to happiness is growth, even in relationships. If
Expansion,
yeah,
yes. It's
if
the
you're
what it's the nature of the universe, and the universe is proven to still be expanding now. It's the nature of the universe.
yeah,
It's us. Yeah. No, I totally agree.
100%. Even in relationships, like you and your partner, if you guys are both improving, you'll just naturally be happy. If you guys are real stagnant, obviously, the word is there in itself. You understand that connotation. Things will get boring. Blah blah blah. But yeah, it's all interesting.
Yeah, I actually heard something about relationships that kind of changed my perception on them, because I always
Oh,
thought
true.
that the best type of relationships would be with someone that you had a lot in common with.
Yeah,
And essentially, they said you don't need to have anything in common with the person.
I've
You
seen
need
that.
to have the same goals and trajectory, because then you're going to be growing
Yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, you could be into guitar and I'm into fucking, I don't know, the flute. But we both want to become artists. We don't have that in common though.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, I don't play your instrument, you don't know how to play mine, but we
yeah.
both are having the same trajectory. So we're both going to be growing in the same direction, because if you think about it, it makes sense. If you're growing in two different directions, then what's going to happen?
You
You're
guys
going to
are gonna
grow
split.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
irregardless of how much you have in common.
And some people should just grow apart. Let it happen, eh?
Definitely,
Like
naturally.
don't try and stick to something just because of
Don't
the
hold
past.
on. Yeah, I did it. I
Yeah,
stayed in a relationship 5 years longer than I should have.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Luckily, I have not gone through. She highlighted this about me. I have a tendency to learn from others, so I'll watch people experience things, and I just will not have to go through that same experience. And one of the experiences I've watched countless of times growing up is people staying in relationships that they just shouldn't stay in. So I've never had that issue. Luckily,
Yeah.
luckily.
Honestly, that trait of learning through others' experiences is probably one of the most valuable traits that a human being can have. It saves so many unnecessary experiences.
Yeah.
And I won't say I'm envious of it, but I'm in awe of it, because you're the only person I've ever met who has that trait. I think it's awesome. And you're very blessed to. Do you think it was something that you naturally have always had, or do you think that that's something that's been acquired or something that you've programmed in yourself? Have you ever kind of reflected on it?
I reckon I didn't notice it until you said it, but I reckon it's from that 14 years old depressed guy. His just eagerness to learn about the world and how to better himself. So naturally, with that mindset, if you're just constantly trying to learn, you will just learn from others. You'll see other people do things, and you'll be like, "Oh, maybe don't need to try that."
Yeah.
Yeah. See people like obviously I've got my own mistakes. Like I wish I never started vaping or drinking. That fucked me up. But yeah, I don't know, just eagerness to learn. I reckon knowledge is extremely valuable.
Knowledge is
I
power. Yeah.
reckon if you want something, you can literally learn it. You've got Google, you've got Chat GPT. You can just put time aside to learn whatever skill or get to where you want. You have all the resources. We are in a third world country, so we do have that luxury.
First world.
First world country, so we have that luxury. I've got heaps of family in a third world country, so I also see that they don't have the same type of opportunities we do. And I do intentionally try and utilize everything because I do understand that I got heaps lucky with my
Yeah.
parents.
How old were you when you came to Australia?
I was like eight,
Oh,
eight
wow.
years
So
old.
you've got like a vivid recollection of life
Yeah,
before
yeah, yeah. I
Australia.
remember walking down the street. I seen some blind dude that was also deaf. I was like,
Wow.
that's pretty. And then they had the sign, and they couldn't see. Obviously, they probably could see before, but their eyes were fucked. I remember walking down the street, like from church, and on the side of the road or the side of the footpath, some guy's like pinned stomach to the ground, hands behind his back, and the guy on top of him was like reaching into his pockets, robbing it, and everyone was just walking by. I was looking. My dad was like, "Nah, just look forward." I was like, "True, it
No one wants
is."
any trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's just a different different world out there. But I mean, those experiences brought me here now. Take the good with the bad. With the learning from other people, I also have a perception that it takes, I think, as a guy, for whatever reason, you learn things the hardest possible way every time. So I believe that, and I've seen it in myself and in others. So, for example, if you drive a car at 150 kilometers an hour, like 50, it takes you 50, like if you nearly crash 50 times, you're never going to learn your lesson until you crash that car.
Yeah, contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before, you might have some near misses here and there, but you're still going to do it. Until you fucking crash that car, unfortunately, that's when you're going to learn your lesson. And because I understand that in people and in myself, I'm also like, yeah, nah, I'm not even going to, not even. It's like a conscious thing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I see people on fentanyl and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to try it.
yeah,
Like stuff like that. No, but you do it in ways that normal people don't usually do it. Yeah, it's just a really impressive quality to have. And like I said, I'm a pretty good judge of character. I'm quite perceptive and I'm very good at reading people.
we passed the tag.
And I can honestly say, out of, probably the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that I've met and I've read, you're an anomaly.
It's
It's,
interesting because you're pretty switched on too. So obviously in our workplace, just in life in general, you're heaps switched on. So in the sense that you are constantly learning about yourself, even like understanding that when something triggers you, it's based in probably something that happened in your past. So it's
yeah, it's
probably
within
not
me.
even like your natural. And then you look at it and you understand that as long as you can even identify it, you can fix it, and your body will naturally fix it over time.
Yeah.
I've had instances like that where I got angry for a little thing. I'd be like, "Oh, it's a bit weird," or someone made a joke and it was a bit touchy. I was like, I remembered, oh, this is a bit touchy. Why is that touchy? Like, oh, that's right. Like a few years ago, my mum fucking blah blah blah. And then I'm like, okay, next time they make that type of joke. But I'm the type of person who like sit in my head and I will like make a million jokes that are like 10 times harsher to get myself desensitized to it. Eh? Yeah, it's weird, but it works for me. But then
Yeah.
also you let go of that because you also understand, oh, I'm feeling this way because of that. So I don't
Yeah.
really feel.
Oh yeah, I don't really get offended by people, like what people say to me. Hey, like, and I'm I my humor is usually at the expense of other people,
True.
um, and I do it in a completely like a jest way. Like there's no type of sincerity to it, even though they do say there is truth to humor. But even if it was done towards myself, I think that it is positive aspect of self to be able to laugh at your shortcomings,
Yeah,
at your weaknesses, at your deficits. Because I truly think if I didn't have humor as one of my characteristics, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
true.
Yeah, yeah. Because
True.
I always say, like, to my close friends, especially in that from age 0 to 27, I went to my version of hell,
Yeah,
depths of hell. I was completely surrounded by darkness. I had everything I ever cared about taken away from me. Everything. And I felt like I was alone and I was abandoned in the world. And that's why I was so angry. But humor was like the anchor of light that remained within me. Like the light never
yeah.
diminished. And through humor, I was able to pull myself out of that. And I just think that's really impressive because we look around at people now, especially a lot of drug addicts, alcoholics, and things like that, people with mental health issues, and they're all walking through their own personal hell. My mum was one of them, and unfortunately, she passed away in that state. so I'm proud of myself for achieving that. But yeah, humor is very important. To be able to laugh at yourself is very important.
I agree.
And to not take everything to heart.
Yeah, don't
You
take
know,
things
life
too
is the great
seriously.
joke.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a very integral part of survival.
100%. Just laugh at everything. I laugh at everything.
For sure.
It's
Even
funny.
if you're upset, just put a smile on your face. There's a chemical reaction. Your body starts producing serotonin.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like it's
Practice
just
smiling
yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
And that's how I deal with stuff now. Like I had an incident the other night, and someone was quite angry at me, and they said something quite horrible to me. They I'm not going to go in details, but
Yeah,
they said something quite horrible. And my immediate response was, I just had a big smile on my face. That aggravated them even more,
of course.
hugely. Absolutely,
Yeah,
really pissed them off. And
yeah,
I was like, why? Well, you know, why? If you just smiled, maybe you wouldn't be so angry. Like, but yeah, it's very, very important. I think people don't realize, especially with body language, 80% of our communications through body language. So, you know, to
yeah.
alter our like current state of being, alter your body language.
Yeah, you can prime yourself.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're sitting closed off like this, you're naturally gonna feel more shy and anxious.
And you're defensive. You're not
Yeah,
open. You're not letting anyone in.
if you're sitting like more open, you're gonna feel more confident. All of that, you can prime yourself. If you got like a stressful day ahead of you, if you look at yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes and smile, put your hands up like that, you're naturally gonna be more happy
Yeah.
and confident to go through with a it's a little business hack,
Yeah. Well,
life hack.
have you heard of Mel Robbins?
No, I actually haven't.
She's this chick on YouTube, and she's written a book, but she does high fives. So every time she was depressed, I think her whole life fell apart. I don't know hugely about her channel. I've just seen a few shorts. But she changed her life and her relationship with herself by every time she walked past the mirror, she'd high five it. She's high fiving herself. She's kind of
Yeah,
giving herself accolades just for being her and just for showing up, and you know what I
that's
mean?
it. Yeah,
Completely changed herself through that. Has a different perspective, different life. Seems very happy from what we can see. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it definitely does
yeah.
work.
I used to give myself fist bumps at the gym,
Oh
in
really?
the gym mirror. I didn't even do it like for any reason. I was just like, yo, good shit. But yeah, nah, there's heaps of little things. Did you? There was the election coming up. Should we talk politics or nah?
Donald Trump, oh my God,
Should,
yes. I
should
have
we?
wanted to get into this
Should
only.
we?
Did you hear about Australia sending over some politicians to assist in gaining votes for America? It's the first time it's ever been done
Nah.
that a foreign country is assisting in an American election. So half the Labor Party is being sent to America at the moment to specifically to go into states that are haven't swayed either
This
way
is so
yet, and so
interesting.
they're going to go over and they're going to try and what do? You promote
Yeah,
Kamala
promote.
Harris? Oh, she's a fucking idiot. No offense, America. I've always been a Donald Trump supporter, and the reason why I've been a Donald Trump supporter is because he's uncontrollable. So then that's why they don't want him back into power, because they can't control him. If the people that be behind the scenes can't control him, then you know that if he is elected, your country will be free. And the other countries always follow in suit. Like, oh, I don't trust Australia. I don't trust the Australian government
I don't know anything
whatsoever.
about the Australian
You
government.
don't know. Well, just the things that they do, they always follow America, and America is controlled. I don't care if people call me a conspiracy theory. 2024 is the year of revelation. Everything that's been hidden is coming up to the surface. Those that were up are coming down. If you look at 2024, it's an 8 year. 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. If you look at the number 8, it's the infinity symbol,
Yeah,
essentially, which kind of just means karma. So what comes around goes around. So everyone that's up now is coming down, and what's been down is coming up. And we're at the end of a 24,000. We've just finished the age of Pisces, and we're going into it. We're in a whole new age. We're right at the beginning.
yeah,
It's another 24,000 something year. So we're on the cusp of great change. So it's an interesting time to be alive, and it's interesting to sit back and watch it, and it's reflective of the internal shifts and changes that are happening within ourselves. It's really that, yeah, even with the weather that's going on over there, it seems biblical to me. Yeah, it's crazy.
are you a believer in God?
in God.
Yeah. High power. Allah.
People aren't going to agree with what I believe in, how I believe in God. People are going to say, especially religious people, are going to say that's blasphemy. And I respect that perception, because from your level of perception and from your beliefs and from your values and from your identification, it would seem like what I'm about to say would be a complete personal attack. And that's how people will take it, and I'm fine with
You don't have
that.
to answer the question.
No, well, I believe that we are the consciousness of God that is pretending to be humans, that we've forgotten that. I think that eternal life is just given. And I think that this is just kind of like, if I had to compare it to anything, I would compare it to someone who has just put on a virtual reality headset and they forgot that they put it on, and they've completely identified with the character who they're playing with in the VR, and everything feels real, but it's not. And then when they take it off, they're like, oh, that's right. I wasn't the person in the game. I was the one who created the game and everything within it. And I'm doing this because I can, and because I can expand, and because I can grow through experiences, contrast, good and bad. I can learn more about what I want to create through these contrasting experiences. And no longer do I have to sit there and create the game and kind of watch it like a movie. I can be integrated into the game and experience it from a totally new perception. Like, can you imagine, like,
So it's like a dream. Like you're dreaming, but
yeah,
you
I
forgot.
mean, it's been proven by quantum physics. Like, I mean, this is science. Like, so this is not even just going off feelings or belief systems or anything. This has been proven that we are living within a holographic universe. Everything that you see that appears solidified is atoms that are vibrating at such a close, how would I even word it? They're vibrating so closely and so densely that they appear physical, but nothing is solid. There's not one thing in this universe that is solid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's proven if you want to believe it or if you don't want to believe it. But yeah, I definitely believe in consciousness. But I believe I am the consciousness, and I've just identified with Tian, and I've identified with the body, and I've identified with the external world. And so my journey specifically is to release that identification and to allow for those perceptions to die whilst I remain in the physical world. So I will still be in the physical world, but not of the physical world, because that's our true nature. So does that make sense?
Can you achieve enlightenment in the physical world then if it takes for you to die to, or this is all holographic?
So the thing is, everyone's main goal, whether you're aware of it or whether you're not, this is the intention that we all set for ourselves before we can come into physical reality, or before we physically focus, I should say, because we haven't really gone anywhere. We are trying to transcend these perceptions and these identities whilst remaining in the physical body. So if you were to die, the physical body, I should say, if the physical body is ceasing to hold consciousness anymore, without you transcending those perceptions, you will always come back. It's reincarnation. You'll always come back. So my ultimate goal, and I've had this goal since I was quite young, was to reach enlightenment within this body. So you need to, I don't know if you've ever heard the word ego death, you need to experience an ego death whilst in this physical body. So the ego is the character and its identification with itself and the world around it. So if you allow that perception to die, then you go back automatically into the perception of God. So you're the embodiment of God. You're walking like Jesus. Jesus is a perfect example. There's modern day people. There's been quite a few that will be revered is not the right word, but I mean a lot of them have written books. Those are the type of books that will be revered as religious and spiritual texts in the future. It's crazy to think. So Eckhart Tolle is one of them. He had an ego death, which he talks about quite a lot. If you just even look at him now, you can feel the energy that's coming off him. It feels very pure. It feels very light. And it feels very unconditionally loving because that's who we are at our core. All these other emotions and values and beliefs and perceptions, they're a part of the ego. And we only hold on to them because we're holding on to that identification, ID. So yeah,
This is also interesting. I
yeah.
know Eckhart Tolle. I never read his book, but The Power of Now.
He has a few.
Yeah, he does. I got recommended to read it, but I listened to him talk one time, and he talks too slow. So I was like,
He
"Fuck,
does. Doing one of his
fuck."
meditations is really, really hard because there's
Yeah,
so
so
many
fuck,
big
he
gaps. And
just
yeah,
talks too slow.
yeah. No,
But
I agree.
I do understand that he's very, he does seem almost enlightened, like the close. I don't know if he can get enlightened, but he does seem like he is like 50 steps ahead, if not more.
Why do you think that you? Why do you not think that that's a possibility?
Enlightened being on this. So when it comes to enlightenment and spirituality, I don't hold any firm beliefs. So because I believe in the duality of these worlds, I believe two opposing beliefs can coexist. So like if you someone hates what's a good example?
I know a good
Take
example.
yeah.
Like you got this, so there's an aspect of you that wants to be
Exactly.
completely
Yo,
committed and persevere
100
and just
yeah, yeah.
work, grind, grind,
Perfect.
grind. And then there's this other part of you
Yeah,
that
this is
wants to go
straight
out
fun,
and
eh?
drink and wants to have fun and will
Yeah,
notice this conflict in you. And you're saying that
yeah.
they can exist. They can exist, but they're not in alignment with each other.
They're
It's an
not.
internal war.
It is.
It
It
is.
is.
And
I
then there's
understand
this
that.
guilt that comes with it when you finally give in to the other aspect.
Nah,
There's this,
sometimes,
I can see it. Even the other
Some,
day, we were
nah,
meant to film this
Saturday,
podcast on Sunday. And
nah,
then
what
he
the
calls me up on
expose,
Saturday and he's
expose.
sheepish and he's like, oh, like, kind of have to cancel tomorrow because I've
Nah,
gone
what the
out. I feel
fuck.
really, really bad. That's guilt, bro. So,
So in that situation, yes, I should not. I do regret that. I do feel guilt. Every other time where I'm like drinking, having fun, I don't regret it. But that specific Saturday, that pissed me off. Never again. But usually, like before that, I'd always be like, yeah, this is a good idea. This is good. Yeah, so I've got a duality in myself. So there's a part of me that loves to have fun, part of me that is work all the time, and I do believe that in the world there is so many the duality of the world, so there's so many like opposing beliefs that can coexist, and because of that belief in myself, I don't know if you can be enlightened. I don't know if spirituality, like I believe, yeah, you can move towards enlightenment and it all makes sense, but at the same time I like go to like Bible studies with my friends and learn about the Bible. I'm not religious, but I just value learning every type of way of thinking. Like if you're Muslim, I'd probably learn from you as well and learn from that culture and
that's like what I did.
religion as
Yeah, I
well.
learned a lot about Islam. See, I think that you can't really truly believe in enlightenment if you're seeing through the lens of duality, because enlightenment doesn't have duality. Duality is a part of this physical world. Its polarity is
True.
a part of this physical world, and it is based off the belief, the core belief of separateness. You believe that you are separate from everything around you and from God. Because if you don't identify with God, then there's separateness. So yeah, to reach
I
enlightenment,
reckon you can like yeah identify with God and not identify with God at the same time.
you can. Yes, you
Yeah,
can identify with the human or you can identify with your God self.
yeah, I reckon you could do both at the same time, which is where I'm at
Or
now.
you can perceive
Or
both at the
perceive,
same
yeah,
time, but you can't identify with both at the same
yeah.
time.
So I don't identify with anything so far.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's an identification.
Nah,
You're no age, you're ageless, you're infinite, and you're eternal. So you're no age.
yeah,
So by saying and stating that I'm saying I am, that's an identification. That is literally saying putting I am in front of anything is you deciding that you are going to become this.
true.
Yes, because you're
Yeah,
identifying with it, you're
yeah.
putting your focus there and you're putting your belief that this is who I am. So
That makes a lot
when
of
you're
sense.
identifying with anything else but your God self, then there will always be duality, there will always be polarity, because the reason for
True.
this world is to experience other. Where we come from and who we are at our core, there is only unity. We
Yeah.
know nothing but ourselves.
Yeah.
Hence why we have created this experience, to experience something other than ourselves. It's a very interesting experience. I don't think I'll be coming back to this place after this life. I'm over it. That's why I'm set. I've like, that's my main purpose in this life, is to reach enlightenment. I think that I created the perfect character to achieve that. I
Perfect
have
catalyst.
given myself perceptions, characteristics, and values that can achieve that. And I chose a family to be born in that was going to activate certain qualities. I can't stand the feeling of fear. It makes me so uncomfortable. But that, like we were speaking before, that discomfort is one of those motivating factors, because comfort is the killer of expansion.
Yeah.
It's complacency. Yeah, it will
That's so
not let you grow.
interesting.
So yeah, that's my main goal. And I mean, as crazy as this sounds, like, I'm 33 now. 33 is the age of Jesus when he passed away. I am not a practicing Christian or Catholic, but I was raised by a Catholic household. So a lot of the themes in regards to my spiritual outlook kind of see it through the lens of that. But I have kind of just taken apart the Christian faith and tried to see it more as symbolic. I don't even know if Jesus was a real person. I can't prove that, because when you look at the word history, it says high story. So, I mean, quantum physics proves that unless there is an observer witnessing the atoms, that they don't do anything until the observer adds judgment to it and adds perceptions to it, and then they start to morph. So who's to know if this world even existed until it was perceived as reality? So yeah, I don't know, but I do think that he represents a certain type of vibration that is needed in this world at this point in time to assist with the spiritual evolution of all of its inhabitants.
True. That's so interesting. By the way, if you're not spiritual like me, or like, well, I mean, I am. I don't know. I don't know. That is mind blowing to me. Just how whole perception, which is so interesting.
That's why I love quantum physics, because science and religion never kind of, they were very opposing. But quantum physics and spirituality, quantum physics just kind of gives you the physical evidence of what you've already perceived through your internal lenses and through your internal self, which I love, because I'm not someone, and I found this very difficult with religion, because I did go to like, oh, what do they call it? Not Bible studies, but scripture.
Scripture,
And I remember
I
them
study
telling me
scripture.
things and me being like, that doesn't make sense. Why should I believe that just because you're telling me? But, you know, with quantum physics, it's kind of just opened up this whole new world of backed up evidence, which I think is really important to validating what you kind of already intuitively understood.
True. Please comment your thoughts, whatever you're thinking. I know there's gonna be like mad arguments in the
Yeah,
comments
probably.
if more
Hey.
than two people watch this video.